I'm Carl, I'm Dan's younger brother. As you can see, Mum and Dad were obviously so disappointed with the first attempt. Decided to try again. And practice does make perfect. So I just want to start by saying a massive thank you to Dan and Judith for making me the best man. I'm truly honoured and so happy for the both of you. This is actually the second time I've spoken at a wedding, but it's the first best man speech that I've ever done. And let me tell you, it is pretty nerve-wracking. I only feel slightly better knowing that I'm not the only person in the room who's apprehensive and nervous today. But then again, she has just married Dan. Apart from this speech, my main responsibility today was to get Dan here on time, relaxed and looking good. We're only a few minutes late, so 1 out of 3 is not bad. So, what can I actually say about my big brother? He was born on the 25th of January, 1980, and I scoured the internet to try and see if there's any kind of momentous event or landmark occasion to mark Dan's birth. There's absolutely nothing. But I am aware that the staff at Leicester Royal Infirmary still to this day, refer to that day as Ugly Friday. Now, in my speech at my wedding last year, I started to outline just how strange Dan was as a little boy. Now, most of you weren't there, so I'll just quickly recap over those little gems. When little boys dream about being grown up and the things they want to be, most of them dream of being something like a footballer, or an astronaut, or a spy. Something glamorous, well-paid, exciting. Not Dan. When he was little, all he wanted to be was a milkman. He had some very odd words for things. So, for example, an elbow was an arm bow, and a newspaper was a wombo. Don't know where he got that from. And he also used to pull his pyjama bottoms up right to his chin, just like Simon Cowell. Dan also had a really strong affinity for a certain TV character, and that TV character was Morph. Now, when Dan loved Morph so much that at the end of every time Morph had been on the TV, he would immediately burst into tears and stand in front of the TV screen saying, "Bye-bye, Morph." He only stopped doing that a couple of months ago. Now, Dan isn't particularly known for his quick wits, but there was one occasion where he did me absolutely proud. As all teenagers tend to do, Dan took on a paper round as soon as he was old enough to earn some extra pocket money. And one day he was cycling to the paper shop and somehow managed to annoy a motorist just behind him. So as they both pulled up to a roundabout, the motorist rolled down his window and stuck his head out and gave Dan an absolute torrent of abuse and ended with the words, "Where were your bleeping hand signals?" Quick as a flash and cool as you like, Dan said, "How's this for a hand signal?" and scarfed it. I've literally never been prouder. Now, obviously being the big brother, Dan played a large part in most of my rites of passage as I grew up. Most spectacularly, aiding and abetting the first time I got drunk. I was 13 and Dan was 15, when Mum and Dad went out one balmy Saturday evening, leaving the two of us at home to watch Saturday night TV and eat wine guns. Dan's friend Derek came round, and of course, inevitably, it turns out that ever since Mum and Dad had announced that they'd be going out for the evening, Dan and Derek had been planning to partake in some light recreational alcohol consumption. So no sooner had Mum and Dad left than Derek turned up with 8 cans of beer and 4 litres of cider. While Dan and Derek got stuck into the cider, Dan opened a can of beer and kindly passed it to his trusting little brother. Now picture the scene, about 40 minutes, 4 litres of cider and 6 cans of beer later. I was throwing up in the garden, Derek was merrily trying to ride a BMX up the wall of the garage, and Dan realised he had a problem on his hands. Mum and Dad were expected back in a couple of hours and he desperately needed to sober up his little brother. So, what does our hero do? Where does he put said brother, by now completely passed out on the patio, to sleep off his first binge drinking session? There is, of course, only one sensible place. That's right, you guessed it, the bath. Underneath my bed quilt. Thankfully, he had the good sense to remove me before Mum and Dad got home. However, despite appearances, Mum and Dad aren't easily fooled. And they knew something had been going on, because when they got back, Dan and Derek were both sat bolt upright on the sofa, watching Casualty, trying desperately to stay awake and reeking of Strongbow. Good times. Now, Dan's big passion, apart from Jude, obviously, is cars. And as you all know, Dan tends to change cars more frequently than most people change their underwear. And on one occasion, Dan was driving perhaps a little too fast and unfortunately got pulled over by a traffic cop. And as the policeman approached, Dan rolled down his window. The policeman came up to Dan and proceeded to give him a pretty stern lecture about speeding and said, now what would have happened if Mr. Fogg came down? Dan, being a bit cocky, thought, this policeman's patronising me, so I'm going to be a bit cheeky in return. So Dan said, well, officer, if Mr. Fogg came down, I would take Mr. Foot off Mr. Accelerator, and apply it to Mr. Brake, and reduce Mr. Speed to an appropriate level. The policeman, stony-faced, said, let me rephrase the question, sir. What would have happened if mist or fog came down? Now, it's probably only right that I very briefly mention the stag do in Madrid. Madrid was a lovely city, but obviously we had some language issues. Luckily, we'd taken a pocket translator. His name's Kev, and he's sat just over there. Can you stand up, Kev?
Sure, I am standing up.
You're roughly away. That's the pocket translator. Unfortunately, mainly based on his height or lack of, Kev came in for a lot of abuse over the weekend. Dan somehow managed to deflect the banter onto Kev, which was very skillfully done. Now, for my stag do last year, Dan very kindly dressed me in drag and walked me around Durham on a busy Saturday afternoon. And so Dan's stag do was clearly my chance to get my own back. And of course, as the old saying goes, revenge is a dish best served with Dan dressed as in a white Elvis suit, being paraded around Madrid on a busy Friday night, being followed by being put on a banana suit to go go-karting on Saturday morning. It was truly hilarious to see Dan squirming in discomfort as we walked through the centre of Madrid. What was even funnier though, was how by the end of the night, Dan had fully embraced his alter ego and was busting out the Saturday Night Fever dance moves. I have to say that both the bridesmaids look wonderful today. They've done a fantastic job, not least of which was getting Jude to turn up. As I understand it, she did put up a bit of a struggle. Our bridesmaids today are only eclipsed by Jude herself, who I'm sure you'll all agree looks absolutely stunning. They say that a man picks a bride who's like his mum. Not Dan, he's picked a bride who's like his little brother. Loud, talkative, and very good looking. The first time I met Jude was when me, Jude, Dan and Dave went skiing on a dry ski slope near Mum and Dad's. It was a brilliant day, and it was made all the better when the four of us decided that we were bored with normal skiing and decided that we'd go down the slope in a train formation, so each one behind the other, holding on to each other. We put Jude at the front, given the task of steering the human ski train, and it was a very bad idea. We came far too close to taking out a ski lesson full of little kiddies, and ended up in a big heap of arms, legs and skis at the bottom of the slope. You won't be surprised to hear that after that little stunt, we were asked, politely but firmly, to leave. Jude is a very, very good counterpoint for Dan. Where Dan can be moody, and he can be, Jude is never anything less than a shining beacon of cheerfulness. And Jude has a particular habit of describing everything as little. She says, can we have a little nap? Should we have a little cakey? And she says, can I have a little look in this shop? But strangely, Jude only started describing everything as little after she met Dan, and you can draw your own conclusions. Now, I lived with Dan for just over a year in Stoke, and I have very fond memories of Jude coming over of an evening and making us cups of tea and sandwiches, and then sitting quietly reading magazines while Dan and I played Xbox. Okay, she very rarely sat quietly, but she did read magazines, and she was probably just deciding which item of clothing she was going to buy next. Jude, can I just say that I'm very, very proud to have you as a sister-in-law. I don't think there's anybody who can make Dan happier, and I think that you're absolutely perfect for each other. I know that you're both going to keep making each other happy for many, many years to come. Dan, to you I want to say that as well as my brother, you've always been my best friend. You've always looked out for me, and you've always been there when it matters. I love you, bro. I'm absolutely made up to see you so happy today.
Thank you.
As a very happily married man myself, I just wanted to give you, very happy, one bit of advice that I've found to be absolutely indispensable. There's some particular four-letter words that really tend to wind women up if you use them in an argument. So never, ever, under any circumstances, use them. Cook, dust, and iron. There's very little left for me to do today, other than say that Dan, you've just married someone today who's beautiful, kind, caring, and who will always make sure that your needs are put first. Jude, you've just married Dan. So can I please ask everybody to charge the glasses with standing?